I'm Ronak Ray. I am the General Counsel of Pantheon Systems. We're a web tech SaaS company. We've been around for 12 plus years, and I've been installing the legal function, I would say, on a continuous basis over the past 3 years since I joined Pantheon.
It's been amazing to see everything you've been able to accomplish in such a, 3 years for a growth stage company can actually feel like a very long time, but you've done some tremendous things at Pantheon. And what I'd love to share with our audience today is just what the stage was like before Legal Desk came into the picture and was implemented. What were you doing with your vendor purchasing, and how are some of the other processes running?
Yeah, well, just a quick bit on Pantheon and where it was, and then how we fit in. So we were roughly 200 plus employees. We had over 100 people that were, call it contingent or in our vendor category. So organization that was just starting to break through some seams, and we needed systems and process and more people to join the ranks. And over the past 2.5, 3 years, of course, the business environment has changed radically. We've gone from a 2/3 San Francisco workforce to less than a third of us being in San Francisco. So headquarters is San Francisco, and everyone certainly went much more remote, but our teams now had to assemble on the same processes in a very different way, all while meeting scale challenges, right? So we're going from kind of this 200 plus organization to a 500 plus organization where we are today. We, of course, have the pandemic. We have people like me, new functional leaders that are coming into the company and saying, well, you really ought to follow a process. All deals must be reviewed while maintaining credibility, which was really important for us, right? So they were accustomed to having, general counsel help support them on their large, complex negotiation or even a click-through agreement. And now we needed many more people to be just as successful while maintaining the credibility. So that was the business environment. And the thing that had to be solved was the scale, right? We were seeing 60+% quarter over quarter increases in the number of requests coming into the legal function. So you could just imagine how much we had to keep up with that scale while also building the ship. This is the story of every scaling organization, I am sure. But what was unique to us is, I think, just the fact that it happened all during the pandemic, certainly that we are trying to build that credibility as a legal organization while trying to meet their needs as well.
Wow, that's so much to be tackling, just with, rapid change, everyone being remote, the 60% growth quarter over quarter. You must have been thinking about many different strategies to sort of, just combat that emergent state. So that's when, Ronak, we started talking to you about the Legal Desk solution. And what we can do from a technology standpoint to streamline processes, to give you, visibility into everything that's coming through your team. So it didn't matter where people were located, having a system of record to track everything. But I'd love to hear from you, how did Legal Desk make a difference once it was implemented and rolled out company-wide?
Was better than our hope and prayer strategy. That worked for a very short period of time, but I think we needed to get to a place where obviously this was much more predictable, consistent, scalable, all of the things that you want to see come from a system. And we had worked a little bit on process, and we were hoping that the system can launch us into a better process going forward as well. And you always want that half-baked, at least we directionally understand what we want to do with the system before you actually go in and implement. This is sort of 101 for systems. And what we found was, look, this isn't a problem just for legal. There's a problem for IT, for FP&A, for analytics, for HR. 6 different teams had the same problems that legal did. And what we needed to understand was, if we make this choice of tool and a new process, then everyone must be aligned on what this looks like. So how we came to Legal Desk was, well, we have an array of solutions that might be out there, whether they're internal or external, maybe through partners, people that we know that are doing great things in the legal tech space. So Legal Desk was our hope and prayer, hoping that we can get someone in, but we really wanted this to be grassroots, right? We wanted the other part of the organization to test run it, be sure that it's battle won against all these other providers that might be out there. And what we found was that was the silver bullet strategy from our perspective is just simply what we were trying to do is make sure that there was a movement within the organization to get better. They understood that the pain, in this case, it was in marketing, a little bit in HR as well. So the fact that they had a voice over the tool selection, but also had very crystal clear requirements that we helped them get through during the process, really helped them arrive at, well, Legal Desk, look, is it's a newer solution, one that's looking at the problem with fresh eyes and providing us a much better holistic opportunity to assemble G&A functions together without just thinking about what's going to be good for legal. And for us, we wanted the mirror. We wanted them to see, well, marketing, look, you are the highest requester, or HR, you are the biggest user of the legal function. And so, we're coming to you with a solution that can make your life easier and can help us all work together much more efficiently. So I think that's what did it. So we started off slow, as these things always go. We looked at our vendor process and we said, how do you want that to work? We worked with them on Legal Desk. It was very easy for us to do. We didn't need other people in IT and security and so forth. We had just a few requirements from them. They were able to help us out. And then we were in there along with their business partners, really thinking about how do we use this tool to get through the next stage of growth, to get to your, big event that is coming up, or the next wave of hires that you have to make from a vendor process perspective, right? So we were in lockstep with a lot of our business partners. And I think a lot of that was based on tool selection, the way that we were approaching the problem.
I love so much of what you just shared, Ronak. And I think that's something that is just, so critical for most legal teams to understand, is that they are really at the nexus. They're the hub connecting so many other business functions all together, right? And so successful implementations happen when you actually include everyone as part of the conversation. And it actually speaks to a big transition that we're going to make as a company in terms of branding, because that is exactly what we realized, and so that we are now moving from Legal Desk to Streamline AI, because it does speak to that larger ecosystem, that larger picture, where we are actually streamlining end-to-end processes, not just for legal, but every single other business team that it also touches. And it's been so exciting to have Pantheon as part of that journey, kind of informing that larger picture that's at play. And I'd love to then kind of unpack. So you're working, together with all these other teams to streamline and to improve the vendor purchasing process. What are some of the KPIs or other ways in which you've measured impact that Legal Desk has actually been able to deliver on with respect to all these different teams, as well as your team's experience?
Yeah, I think the way we approached it initially was also reflective of how we measured success. So we wanted to measure organizational success as well as success for the legal function, right? So if I just focus on our little world of can we handle all the contract volume? Are we getting better insights around the risks that are germane to the company's next level of activity? And are we able to track those down? We were so much better at being able to do that. So at least from a legal perspective, we cut our resourcing in half in terms of what we needed to spend on just pure people power to get through the volume surge. From a FP&A perspective, we measured this. It was 55% more visibility into budgets. So we understood what was coming in the door, how it was being spent, what was the business case for it, and to what level was the spend authorized before it got to the next level where we wanted them to come back in, right? So FP&A loved it because they had this ability to really understand what was being spent. From an IT perspective, they had at least 33%, if not more, visibility into where were laptops going, who was using them, what were the security protocols, did everyone sign the policies from an IT perspective so that we could maintain our SOC 2 compliance, which IT is very much focused on. So on down the road, we were able to really help understand from an organization perspective the broader impact of Legal Desk, now Streamline AI, but also help them understand why further investment in this tool set was better for them. If they had visibility into all of these requests, where they were being used and leveraged within the organization, they had a better ability to also set some controls as we circled back with them and gave them risks. And so from an overall G&A perspective, I would say this has just been a tremendous boost to our ability to produce, to chase risks, to be efficient in the way that we help scale the company. And that reflects our continued adoption of Streamline AI in new processes that we're pulling in.
That's absolutely incredible to hear, Ronak. Congratulations on just so many improvements, not only just to the legal team's efficiency and an ability to get through a massive volume of requests with reduced and a leaner team, but also driving so many improvements across the other business functions as well. And I think that this is really the wave of the future, which you're living, and you're demonstrating that through your leadership, which is that legal teams can actually innovate, bring in key pieces of technology, and actually inform the way that other teams also progress and step into the future alongside them. So it's been absolutely incredible to have you, Ronak, as well as Pantheon, as part of the journey with us. And thank you so much for your time today and sharing your story with our wider ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you for making it possible. I don't think we would have been able to accomplish as much as we did without a partner like Streamline AI.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a great day.
See you.